In this video we're going to download and install Visual Studio Code. When you're working on Capture the Flag and editing in Python, you've had a range of editors you can choose from. Another very popular editor is PyCharm. In my opinion, that even has some extra features that make it more useful than Visual Studio Code, but Visual Studio Code keeps everything simple. There are a couple of gotchas with PyCharm. So for the sake of this video series, I'm going to choose to use Visual Studio Code, but you can go ahead and use whatever editor you like. It doesn't matter what it is as long as you can edit Python code. Okay, so let's get on with getting Visual Studio Code. To begin with, we go to the website code.visualstudio.com. Now on this page you'll see straight away I've got this download link here. It's detected I'm on Windows and it's shown there's a download for Windows. If you're on another operating system or your system doesn't come up here, you can press this down arrow here and you can see there's installers for Mac, for Windows and for Linux, InDeb and RPM. So we want to get the Windows installer for this video because I'm running Windows. Now we don't want the Insiders version. The Insiders is the latest build and it has new features, but it could also introduce some bugs. The stable version has everything we need and it's stable, so we'll go with that one. Your download should start automatically, and once it's downloaded we'll install that. To begin with installing, we accept the agreement. Visual Studio Code is based on open source software. They do, when they package, add a few parts that are not open source. So if you're interested, you can go through and have a read of that. There is an alternative called Visual Studio Codium, which doesn't have any of the additional non-free parts. If you're interested in looking at that, it's mainly about leaving out the telemetry. I'm going to stick with Visual Studio Code for this demonstration, so I'll click Next. Pick your location. I'm going to stick with the defaults and just click Next and Next. When we get to this page, I want to add these two tick boxes here so that we can, from within Windows Explorer, open up a folder or a file using Visual Studio Code. We'll go ahead and install that. And it's now installed. I'll leave that checkbox there just so we can see Visual Studio Code launch. Okay, and we can see we now have Visual Studio here. I already have some extensions for Python already installed, but if you bring this up and Python is blue like it is with JavaScript and PHP and the others, you can click on that link and it will automatically install the Python language support for Visual Studio Code. I'd highly recommend that you do click on that link and get the full Python support experience in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so in the next video we'll look at getting Capture the Flag up and running.